Alright, so copying this over from Steve Mann's demo or tutorial mod. Let's see, using the Unity engine. Okay. Trying to figure out Steve's code here. I do not like default names. Because now I don't know what's the default name and what's actually needing to be changed. So he's registering the mod, registering the handler, and then registering the UI. Okay. What's up, Sid? Working on adding in a mod for FortressCraft. But unfortunately it means I have to learn the scripting language and the C# methods and so forth they use for the game. First one's going to be a primitive smelter. Essentially one that operates, you know, within the first couple minutes of the game, where you can grab some stone, wood, and stuff like that, create a forge, and throw coal in it manually, throw ore in it manually, and you smelt. But it's all manual, not automated, stuff like that. So it's kind of uses the features of, you know, when you're working with the CPH, where you had to feed it coal manually to keep it going. But basically it's supposed to bridge the gap between the first, you know, 30 minutes to an hour before you can get normal smelters working, or the none of the other developers were going to bite off on it, so I figured I have to make it myself. Right now I'm looking through some code on a different screen, so it's not showing up on the stream, but trying to figure out how they're calling all these, because it's going to have to go to a plugin, which means I have to write it in Visual Studio for C# so the Unity can handle it, but just trying to go through all that, because unfortunately, while there is a lot of good documentation, there's also a lot of undocumented stuff, so learning curve, unfortunately. Luckily, the community on the Discord server for FortressCraft is pretty good. So all the modders are on there, so they're able to at least answer questions. I think the other mod I'm going to look at making is probably a multi-block power bar. Essentially one that's just a single block wide, but probably 3, 5, and 10 segments long, that you can basically shoot from one side and then have space to put 3 other or more outputs on. That way it's evenly distributed, because I really hate trying to assemble a bar of batteries and, you know, one first battery gets to okay throughput, but the subsequent batteries down the line all suffer. Yeah, I was testing that out today. I could only really get, like, even though I was supplying with like 1800 plus PPS, I could only get about 100 PPS out of it to my like Mark III energy transmitters. So it wasn't very effective about even throughput. I mean, up to 100 PPS it's fine, but beyond that it didn't seem like it was able to beam it out fast enough. Though people are saying that they can get crazy throughput for stuff that's like physically attached to the induction charger. So some of the machines apparently run better directly connected to it. Though I'm curious if an induction charger will work with a neighboring induction charger. I didn't test that. I know they won't charge batteries, that's for sure. Stacking induction chargers or batteries? So I just use transmitters. Maybe a battery if I need to have a offshoot or something from it. But mostly it's just like, I stop my levels usually every 60, or well, since the energy transmitters go on a, you know, base 64, So you've got, what? How many induction chargers do you have then? It's a lot of blocks. I've just been using the battery the energy transmitter, and then every 64 meters pick it up with either another energy transmitter or a battery energy transmitter combo. Interesting. I mean, ideally, I designed my shafts so that they were going to work with the Mark IV. What is it? The energy transmitter, the conduit. So that I got a 3x. Yeah, it's just a 3x3 block that attaches to a Mark IV battery. It shoots, well, straight down in this case. So I think that gets 10,000 PPS. Perform item action. Just open. Custom. Send.
Gift box, skinny jeans, small tees, Jordans, and thrift socks. The chicks rock yoga pants, sweaters, and spot scarves. And congregated clubs, coffee shops, and the dog parks. It all starts late. People wait at the gate. The gatekeeper think we ain't equal. Security hate people. The straight treat you like 3 stacks and outcasts. Those with clout pass, the rest folk out cash. As you enter the spot, temperatures hot. Young ballers spinning, hipping the guap, pipping the block, sipping they pop. The bottles put your tip in the pot, or let the brown liquor hit your furnace, flipping and watch. So with the gal in my wine up, the body like so, and the man in my logo, she party like go. It's ladies' night. There's maybe mama or maybe wife looking for love in this crazy life like that.
That's a pretty big shaft then, a 9x9. What are you using to dig it out? An excavator or a, doing it mostly by hand? Yeah, I've got... There's two mods basically that have auto excavator upgrades in them. You've got the strict Mark II auto excavator mod, and then there's another one in Shadows mod that does Mark II, Mark III, and Mark IV. But frankly, the only thing that really changes is that the distance that they can go. Like the Mark II will do 256, the Mark III will do like 512, and the Mark IV will do like 1024 distance. But as far as speed goes, they're kind of slower than the vanilla, but they will blow up or anything that's in the way. But I will say, the other moddable feature that Shadows has is that it can change the width. So you can do start with a 3x3 or expand it out to like 50x50 if you want. So you can theoretically have it carve out a huge area, kind of like a reverse excavator or a reverse. Let's say it's a reverse excavator. They can go from the bottom instead of the top, and you can storage offload them and stuff like that. Pretty large. I need to check and see how the generic Mark II mod compares to Shadows as far as speed, because Shadows, I'm not too impressed with the speed of it. Although Shadows can do it as kind of an excavator where it actually harvests it and puts it in a hopper for you, if you wanted to do that route. Or you can just blow it up. So why is he editing all the frequency? Let's see, efficient. Jeez. That's gigantic. That'll carve the map.
There I am. Bullet Gaza 9422 because you've got to have the mod author's name in the title of the mod as accordance with the modding API. So we're going to do compressed blocks. So this will sort out some storage issues. If you're familiar with HMK's Broken Moss mod, this was something similar he did. Right, in here you will have your mod version, so this will be version 1. And inside there you want a new text document. And I'll call that mod.config. Yes, I'd like to change it, thank you very much. Then I'm going to edit that with Notepad++. Drag that out over here. You can ignore all of that, that is all rubbish. So basically, I need to quick glance at my old one. And I'm just, I think it's XML out. So this is an example of a recipe. You want the category. Well, first of all you need to have your craft data. That'll be at the top and bottom, so it just keeps it all together. And your key, each key you do has to have your mod author's, well, you need the author's name, dot, whatever the key you want to be. That way it stops any mods clashing with each other. So say if someone else had a Rough Hewn Rock 1 key, and I wanted to make one, it would clash, so put our author name just so that it makes sure those recipes are separated. Then you want your category, which determines where it appears in the crafting tab. I want to go for crafting ingredients. Hope I'm spelling that right. Let's switch over to my crafting ingredient. So I'm going to steal crafting ingredient, there we go. Tier, doesn't really matter. So we're going to do compressed blocks. So although we're messing around, craft key will be, we're going to go compressed crafted amount we want 1, and it's going to require coal ore. So that is going to be its required, and because it's compressing, let's go with the scan requirements. But I find that if I'm making a recipe that involves crafting coal ore, which will be my decompression recipe, because I'll have this one, and then we're going to get at the cost of 1 compressed coal. So compressed coal. That is it. Okay. Description. Paste. Okay, so it's
Okay.
probably trying to
Have a good night, Dr. Sid.
let's go train data, let's define coal ore. So the top texture for coal ore is 199. So this is just going to have the basic coal ore texture. It's solid. It's true. So we don't want to be able to walk through it. It's hollow, false, it's passable, false, it's glass, false. As object, let's go false. On that. As entity, false. Audio type, let's keep this close to the original, so we're going to go sand. Build type, audio destroy, none. Category. Let's go category, what are we going to call it? Well, it's an ore, isn't it? Actually, no, we don't want to do that as an ore, because we won't be able to place it. Let me have a look. So I'm going to do stone. Deep stone, let's see, what category does that come under? For those of you not sure what I'm doing, I'm looking at the original crafting terrain. So I'm looking at different information based on what they're using, or should I say what DJ's using, because it actually doesn't have a category there, it's got tags. So I might not even need that. Unless it's a machine, which what's that one? Let's go up to the top. So we've got air, grass, rock. There's no category. Has got tags for Vauxhall and outdoors. So my guess here is I probably won't even need that. Okay, that'll probably do. We'll save that. So that should now be linked to my manufacturing recipe. If I get that right. Gotta be careful with my typos. Decompress Okay, that looks good to me. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to leave them open. I'll check that out on my second screen.
And welcome to Flexible Games, the FortressCraft Evolved modding tutorial series. Starts off here with the basics of modding. The mod system in FortressCraft is pretty robust and allows you to do a lot of different things. And today we're just going to show some of the basics on basic text editor mods, and my recipe rebalance mod is a perfect example of this. No coding is required, and you can go in and override recipes all you want without editing the raw files. So if we go in here, the place that you put your mods is your app data, local, projector games, FortressCraft mods, and then you name your mod and you prepend the mod name with your author ID, and this will ensure that there's no conflicts with that. The author ID is used extensively in mods, so be sure to lock down your author ID and use that consistently. And then you have to, once you have that, you do a version number, and that's where your mod config goes. And your mod config is a very simple file that just shows what the ID is, what the name is, the version number, is it local or is it a server only, and these are usually false unless you're very advanced